Hello everyone, this is Dr. Suganya from Department of Computer Science at Dr. SNS Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science. In this video, I am going to tell you about how the inline versus macro and function overloading happening in object-oriented programming. Let us see the difference about the inline versus macro function overloading. So these that is inline functions are provided by C++ and the macro functions are preprocessor directives. The inline keyword is used to declare the function as inline, whereas hash define is used to declare the macro functions. The inline functions can be declared inside or outside the class, whereas the macro cannot be declared inside the class. The inline functions are passed by the compiler, whereas the macros are expanded by the C++ preprocessors. The inline functions can access the data in the as the member of the class, whereas the macros cannot access the data in the member of the class. The compiler replaces the function call with the function code, whereas in macro, the C preprocessors replaces every occurrence of macro template with its corresponding definition. In inline functions follows the strict parameter type checking, whereas in macros it does not follows the parameter type checking strictly. In inline functions, it may or may not be expanded by the compiler. It depends upon the compiler's decision whether it can be expanded the functions in the inline or not, whereas in the macros they are always expanded. In inline functions it can be used for debugging a program, whereas in macros it cannot be used for debugging as they are expanded at pre-compile time. The last and 10th point is the format for the defining the inline functions and macro functions. Let us see about the function overloading. In C++, two functions can have same name if the number and type of arguments passed is different. These functions having the same name but different arguments are known as overloaded functions, and this is the format and few examples for function overloading. That is, in a single word, if we want to say the function overloading means same functions with number of different arguments, and the name of the arguments can also be different. Here all the four functions are overloaded, and the functions may or may not have the different return types, but they must have different arguments. These are the example for the function overloading. Here both functions have the same name, same type and same number of arguments. Hence the compiler will throw an error. These are the assessment questions whereas I found while going through these topics, that is what are the difference between inline versus macro, and giving some examples for the function overloading with the students' own interest. These two are the references which I have made for the inline versus macro functions. Thank you.